Cool.
Hey,
All right, guys.
hey,
Oh, hey,
can
Rolf.
you hear me?
Yeah, you're sounding good. Yeah, no. So it's 1 o'clock. Why don't we get started? How do you guys feel about that? Rolf, hey, can you mute your YouTube maybe, or maybe that's me because I hear an echo.
Uh,
Yeah. So anyone that's live on this chat channel, please mute your YouTube as well because I'm hearing that echo come through. And in fact, I may actually mute people on my end, just to make sure that we don't have that feedback. Okay, cool. David, I see you're joining. Awesome. Well, guys, hey, Anarch pointed out earlier we've hit a milestone for a project because we just experienced a bit of a DDoS attack on our mining pools, or at least a couple of them were attacked, and that's kind of cool because it shows that we're big enough where people are starting to pay attention to us. Maybe not in a good way, but hey, it's something. So anyway, that's the first first little bit of good news turned bad news, I think. So why don't we move through the slides? Anarch, if you can bring us to the first slide or the second slide. Seeing a bit of a lag. Okay, cool. Well, okay, so I wanted to just start again with big picture stuff, because I think it's always important to frame what we're doing in that broader context. So, and this is just my perspective right now, but I think it's a good thing for us to consider is what is our mission? And to me, the mission is real simple. We're just trying to be the #1 most useful privacy coin on the market. So that's how we're tackling it. It's kind of like, Amazon starting out wanted it to be the best online bookseller in the market. So they started real simple niche. I mean, this is a big market, but I think if we focus on what's most important, which is being the best, most useful privacy coin, I think that we can gain a good headway in the market. And how to do that? Well, there's a lot of different ways, but I think culture plays a huge part of it. And I want to point everyone to this company called Zappos. It's Tony Hsieh's company, and I want to be the Zappos of cryptocurrencies. And what I mean by that is radical customer service mindset, where we're just trying to create just an awesome culture that's like a horizontal organization where we treat everyone with perfect respect. We foster a positive environment in the community, and we're just extremely open and positive overall. Yeah, so that's my perspective on how we're going to get to some of our biggest objectives, particularly our primary mission. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. We have a ton to cover today, and I don't want to take too much time with just me talking because I have a few other people I want to get on the line. And okay, so the next slide, we have a ton of team growth. So we're looking at the team right now. We've been growing kind of extremely rapidly, where on the developer side, we have a lot going on. So we just brought on Wayne Dawson. He goes by @JohnGalt0 on the forum. And he's an extremely senior guy, like 30 plus years of C++ and other software development experience. He's an engineer by trade. And really cool thing for us was he actually spent part of his career working on eGold, which was the precursor to Bitcoin. So we're starting to roll in part of that old like cypherpunk community, which was the formation for cryptocurrencies to begin with. Also on the developer front, we have in Czechoslovakia, in Pilsen, Czechoslovakia, we have Lucas, our beloved Lucas @Lucas on the forum, has brought on two of his colleagues to work the project. So 2 other software developers. We have 3 guys developing the Zen Wallet. That's their current project in Pilsen. We have part of our commitment to being global is to actually devote resources and build teams in different parts of the world. Well, one area that we're building out rapidly right now is Eastern Europe and Russia. And I think the motivation for that was when we looked at our website traffic, we were looking at basically the lead sources of traffic for our website geographically were the US and then followed by Russia. So there's just a ton of interest from the region. and we notice a lot of Russian speakers in our community channels, and it's about time that we start putting together some independent efforts for them. So to show our commitment to that, we brought on David. He's leading our Eastern European growth, and he's actually a really good friend of mine and an extremely impressive individual. Besides being a neurologist with an MBA, he's also an extremely successful entrepreneur and an executive chief medical officer for a biotechnology firm. So on his little bit of time that he can squeeze with all of that other stuff going on, which he's streamlined perfectly, he's really already charged forward significantly with growth there. So David, if you're on the line, you can pop into the chat here and just kind of introduce yourself and say a few words.
Sure. Hey, thanks Rob for introduction. Well, hello everybody. I think this is my first sort of a formal meeting with the team, and I'm really mind blown by the amount of enthusiasm and positivity, as Rob mentioned, that is going on amongst everybody. So initially, I thought it was going to be a pretty handful of tasks for me to basically take a lead on Eastern European market, but I've been amazed how easy it turned out to be. Not the actual work to do itself, but from the standpoint of community support. Before I had a chance to go and find anybody outside to say, hey, I'm going to hire a translator, do this, do that, all of a sudden people are reaching out on all these different channels and asking me, hey, how can we help? And not only asking me, but as we are speaking, like 80% of this website translation is already done by the community members themselves. So I certainly want to take an opportunity to thank everybody for chipping in so quickly and efficiently and getting things done before I even I have finished saying it. Just to give you a quick overview of what we're planning to do on that region. By the way, for everyone else who is not from Eastern European market or Russia on this channel, that's probably majority right now. It is my understanding that we certainly have plans to cover and accommodate all the markets. But as Rob said, because Russia is by far the one of the biggest areas, it basically makes sense to start with that region. The first step that I thought would be most logical and reasonable is to ease the exchange of information, everything that U.S. market knows to the Russian side or Eastern European. You can kind of group the region together because there's quite a few other Russian-speaking countries, and that starts with removing the language barrier. Fortunately, most of the people there speak some English, some more, some less. But I think there's nothing better than having a native language information in everything that we do. So we're definitely already on the way, quite successfully there. I thought the next step after we do all the major translation would be to integrate with local exchanges, and Rob and I have been making quite a bit of advances on that front as well. Already talking, having concrete negotiations with those exchanges. So there will be probably you can call it a step 2, and the step 3 is sort of a bigger picture of integrating with the financial infrastructure in those parts of the world, whether it's companies, organizations, banks, or people just exchanging money and goods, or Zen and goods. That would be the almost like third part of the grand plan there. So I think that covers really what I had in mind after this first few days of me formally being on the team. And probably it's already quite handful, to be honest with you. Any questions or any immediate comments, Rob? Anyone else?
No, I think that's a really great intro, and it would be great every other week to hear from you guys as well to see what's going on in the region. So it's like little quick updates, because I know that there's a lot of people out there that are excited for what we're doing and want to be part of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you. Cool. And then let's see. So we've got Tatiana just showed up, and so I wanted to introduce Tatiana, who's the CEO of Crypto Media Hub, and we actually have a rock star marketing and PR elements right now. So Crypto Media Hub is very entrenched in the industry, as is our PR firm, Waxman PR. I don't know if we have anyone online today from Waxman, but I'm going to hand off to Tatiana now so she can introduce herself and just give you a little overview of what they're thinking.
Great. Hey, everybody. It's Tatiana. Nice to meet you all. I'm actually with Callie. Callie, are you there?
Yeah, hi guys, I'm here too.
Great. So Callie is our Chief Marketing Officer. I'm the CEO over at Crypto Media Hub. For those of you that don't know me, I came from the libertarian world. I used to do a lot of songs for Ron Paul in 2012, and I do a lot of kind of protest music. My interest in crypto is sort of from an ideological perspective. I guess I have always believed in music and the power of art to help make the world a better place. And then when I found out about crypto, I included technology in that list. So I started Crypto Media Hub a few years ago when I saw a lot of people in the crypto space not necessarily spending their money properly. As an artist, I'm always really mindful of budgets. And so it was really frustrating to see people kind of make a big investment on the tech side, but maybe not budget money for marketing, or to spend their marketing on things that weren't necessarily going to get them the results. And it's been basically me and a couple different people, but now Callie's joined the team. I have Brian Sovereign from Sovereign Tech. He's our CTO, big fan of the project, which was really neat. And we're just going to be sort of going over everything over the next couple of weeks. We're going to be presenting our marketing plan to the team next week and start implementing relatively soon. I know everybody seems to be very excited to get more stuff from us, but we just need to get up to speed. So if everybody could be a little bit patient, I personally want to make sure that we're focusing on the anarchist and libertarian communities, because that really worked very well for Bitcoin. And I think that obviously those people are going to find a lot of utility from Zencash. But maybe Callie, you want to jump in and say a few things?
I mean, I guess my background is I have a degree in advertising, and I've been in the marketing advertising world for about 12 years now. So as well as sales. And then also Ross Ulbricht is my brother. So because of that situation, I've been brought into the cryptocurrency world. So I think I love the feel and the vibe of Zen and Zencash and everyone's enthusiasm. So we want to just take that and reach more and more people as much as possible, and set up a really just amazing marketing plan for you guys. So it's in the works. It's coming.
Great. Sounds good. Rob, is there anything that I can't really tell if people are writing any questions or anything, but is there anything that we should cover? I'm in the streets of New York right now, so I don't know if the background noise is a little crazy, but if anybody has any questions, they can also email suggestions and stuff to us. Give us like a minute, because it's been a lot of inbound stuff, but my email is Tatiana@cryptomediahub.com. So if anybody wants to shoot me a message with any ideas that they're having, that would be great. I know that one of the cool things about Zencash is you guys already have a pretty robust community. So I definitely want to be engaged with that, and hopefully, find ways where we can all meet in person too.
Okay. Yeah, we're back, Rolf. We could. Yeah. Okay. Cool, guys. Good that we're back. Let's just keep rolling then. Okay. So let's see. Okay, so in addition to Crypto Media Hub, we also have Waxman PR that we're retaining for basic public relations. And these guys are very well known within the industry. They're awesome to work with, extremely professional. And I'll try to get them on next time to introduce themselves and give you a little overview of what they have going on for us. But they're the team that has been able to get us into like Reuters, Forbes, New York Times. So Zencash is all over the place in the media. And that's, these guys have been a big part of that. So very happy to have them. So the other big picture stuff we have going on, we're just doing everything we can, including this call every 2 weeks for improving transparency and communication. We're doing major push for outreach and integration. So I know a lot of people have been submitting exchange requests or requests that we get listed on different exchanges. But I just want you guys to know that we're making like a feverish effort in the background and every single day reaching out to different exchanges and partners to get listed. And we have a few of them in the pipeline already that I'll mention in a later slide. Okay, so if we can go to the next slide, please. Okay. All right, so I'm just going to cover some of our key accomplishments in the last 2 weeks. So we have hit several key secure node development milestones. We have the alpha product for the tracker in testnet right now. We have about 18 nodes running it, which has been great. We've been able to pick up some issues along the way and have those real-time repaired. And that's a big part of what we're doing is the secure node development stuff. We have, and that's just on the tracker side. On the blockchain side, we have a bunch of development going on to enable the secure nodes to operate. Okay, we just signed a contract with Crypto Media Hub with our marketing team and with Waxman PR for the public relations. We have a working Zencash faucet up. It's 100% complete and really cool, thanks to @Rocket. And we have now the ability as an anonymous cryptocurrency to purchase Zencash anonymously is really important to us. And we now have that ability using Evercoin. So if you go to our homepage and you look at buy Zencash, if you click that button, you'll see a drop down with our Evercoin link. We have a dedicated page on Evercoin to buy and sell Zencash. And actually, some good news there was that their inventory of Zencash has been running low. So that shows that we have net buying and selling. We're very net on the buying with them, which is really good to hear. Okay, and we have some Wikipedia updates, just some basic stuff. So Zencash has been added to Wikipedia's ISO 4217 list of cryptocurrencies, and we actually have a draft Zencash Wikipedia page submitted to them, which they tell us will be formally published in about 3 weeks. So that's just their lead time, but we're all set there. Okay, let's move forward, please. I just have an example here. I highly encourage everyone to check out our page on Evercoin and test it out with a little bit. You can buy and sell, but it's pretty cool. It's a very sleek interface. The founders behind the company are awesome, really cool to work with, and are philosophically very much in line with us. So I think it's a really good relationship that will probably expand over time. Okay, next page, please. And I've got 3 slides for developer updates. So we have some cool stuff going on. We have a lot going on, which is really good. Okay, so the secure node tracking systems. Now, this percentage complete, Alan will be able to chime in on shortly, but I put 90% here, but that's really because it's in alpha right now. But there's actually a phased approach that obviously from alpha, we're going to be releasing a beta version, and then we want to do a couple weeks of testing on the beta to make sure that everything's working well before we actually start submitting payments through it. So we've had this in testnet for 2 weeks already. 18 nodes are testing it, and we're working on reporting in the payment system piece of that software now. Now, on the blockchain side, we have to do some things to enable the secure node system to operate. So the first part was the TLS layer has been integrated and deployed to testnet. So that's currently part of what we're testing in alpha, which is a really big deal. It's great. Also, that team's worked on encrypted and unencrypted connections to be accepted for secure nodes. So if a secure node is going to go onto our system, they have the option right now nodes have the option to generate connections that are either encrypted or unencrypted. Currently, we may at some point consider forcing all traffic through a fully encrypted system, but we're doing things in stages just to make sure everything works properly. And we have currently generation of self-signed certificates is supported in the system. So, Alan, if you're available right now, if you want to just chime in if there's anything that I've missed or glossed over too quickly, please do.
No, I think you hit most of the points on that. I mean, it's been a really great experience working with all the people who are testing the nodes, and I've been getting a lot of feedback. I've been able to plug a lot of issues that were brought up. I've got some clever people out there who are trying to get around everything that's been built, so that's helping to harden up the system and keep it or get it to a state where it's more solid. And just, as you say here, we're starting to work on the reporting and the payment system portions of that. So those systems will hopefully be up to be tested next week or so.
Cool.
And one other note is for those who are testing, I've got another update for that coming out probably today or early tomorrow to test some more parts of it and just plug a few more holes and issues that were found.
Nice, that's awesome. So you would say we're about 2 to 3 weeks from the beta phase?
I think that would be a good target.
Okay. Conservative target. Good. Okay, cool. Well, yeah, it'd be great to have you around for Q&A afterwards. I'm sure that's one of the hottest items on our agenda right now that a lot of people have questions on. So if we can go to oh, great, thanks. If we can go to the second development slide, please. So we have ongoing blockchain improvements that are going on. So we have just constant work to make our blockchain better, more efficient. What we've done so far is we're adding full certificate validation using certificate authorities like Let's Encrypt and VeriSign. So that'll be the next stage for secure node development. We're doing encryption for private keys. Really cool, obviously, for secured privacy coin. Adding command line parameters as we go and fixing the pull tester. Now, pull tester apparently has been broken from Z Classic, and even some functionality from Zcash seems it wasn't working properly. So our team's actually gone through and fixed that, which has been great. And on our to-do list for the development side, we have syncing with Zcash upstream improvements just to make sure that we're not missing any key development items that they're doing on the protocol that should be incorporated on our side as well. So we're keeping a track of that. It will be pretty active. Now, the next slide, please. So I've mentioned the faucet that Rocket was able to complete. That it's really cool. Urge everyone to give it a shot, especially if you know people who are interested in cryptocurrencies. Maybe they've never used cryptocurrency, but they're kind of interested, or maybe people who are Bitcoiners. This is a great way to introduce them to Zencash, is to take them to the faucet and have them set up a wallet and just get some free Zencash to test out. And they can set up a wallet easily with the online wallet that Kendrick's been working on. So Kendrick, I would say is I would estimate about 90% complete. So he's been working on the regular unshielded transactions work perfectly there. And I think the next step was the shielded transaction support. Okay. So definitely check that out at myzenwallet.io. It's really cool for us as well because we want to be a very usable cryptocurrency. So we don't want there to be technical issues with people who might not be technically inclined to set up wallets. So new wallet development and making it easier for people is one of our biggest items that we're working on. And speaking of that, so Lucas and the team working out in Pilsen are working on a new GUI wallet, a graphical user interface wallet that they just started. So it looks really cool, and we have high hopes for them. If they're online, they're welcome to talk about that. But it looks like it'll be a really nice addition to our portfolio of wallets. Now, on the wallets, we have two GUI wallets currently. Right, we have the Swing wallet and the Elios wallet. Now, the Elios wallet was started prior to this project, not by our developers. And we've done improvements to it since, but it's still buggy. And because we haven't had full control on the end-to-end development cycle for that, we're probably going to be phasing that one out over time. Okay, so probably most of our customer support items come from people having an issue with their Elios wallet. So we encourage everyone to use the Swing wallet on your computer if you're looking for a nice GUI wallet. Okay, and so hardware wallets are really important for us as well, so that people can store their wealth offline. And we've initiated the integration process with a Ledger hardware wallet. So that'll be a really nice news item once we can release that full integration. Okay, if we could move to the next slide, please. Okay, we're doing a ton of stuff for outreach. We're kind of obsessive with it, and there's so much more to do. One thing that I had going on last week, so I was on a privacy panel for the 100X Blockchain Investor Summit with Fluffy Pony from Monero. You guys know him, Ricardo. And it was a really fun experience. Got to get quite a bit of Zencash exposure to a targeted cryptocurrency investor community. So that was really good getting on there. We have ongoing Bitcoin talk and Twitter campaigns. So Madar's doing an awesome job with that. You guys can support him or ask him any questions if you want to know what he's up to in more detail. But he's just very very detail oriented and does a great job managing the distributed team that we have working on those campaigns. We're always evaluating proposals for grassroots outreach. We have some really good ones in right now, and I encourage anyone who's listening to this, if you have an idea for some sort of outreach and you could use some funding to make it happen, please go to our forum and submit your proposal. We have guidelines on how we like to see things, but of course, these are guidelines. They're not strict requirements. It just makes it a lot easier for us to evaluate proposals and get back to you with a relatively quick response. So new exchange listings and integrations. There's a ton going on. Some of those that I'll list. So we started a Poloniex listing campaign last week, where I sent out a newsletter, and we, throughout all of our social media channels, we posted, a how-to guide essentially to submit a new coin listing through Poloniex. Now, I know Poloniex has had some issues, and they've stopped accepting new coin listings for the last, I'm not sure, couple months maybe. Their liquidity has dried up significantly from being the #1 altcoin exchange. Now, our exchange partner, Bittrex, is the #1 volume exchange, altcoin exchange, I believe, in the U.S. And it's great that we have that partnership with them. But at the same time, if Poloniex is going to overcome their issues and they're going to start accepting new listings again, we want to be in top of the queue. So that's why it was great to have everyone in the community be so active and supportive by getting the word out to them and submitting these new listing, the new listing request. So if anyone hasn't yet, please do. That'd be great and helpful. Now we have a few other exchanges that we're working with. Now we have Yobit. Now this is an Eastern European exchange, and we've submitted the listing request through them that is being initiated right now. So it would take about 3 or 4 days. So we might even see that as soon as later this week, or if not, by next week. So that'd be really good for us to get on Yobit. And we have Bisq and Waves are both decentralized exchanges that we're trying to get on. We have active integration efforts with them right now. Ledger, I told you, is a hardware wallet that we're looking to get into. And another really cool project is Cost.io. This is a Singaporean cryptocurrency company, startup, and really cool guys to work with. So I reached out to them last week, and they got back to me within 2 minutes, and really liked what we're doing, and wanted to get on a call this week. So I talked to them yesterday and just had a really good conversation. So these guys are going to list Zencash as a first step in working together. We're thinking about potentially co-marketing efforts, an official relationship between the organizations, and maybe even most importantly for us is as we're going down this usability path, like radical usability, these guys are going to provide or get us into their payments gateway service, which is awesome because then merchants will be able to start accepting Zencash. So we also have a coin payments vote going on to get Zencash listed in coin payments. That's coinpayments.net/vote. Because I don't want to spam all of you guys every day with new calls to action, I was going to hold off until Friday on that one, but I'll probably close off the week with a renewed call to action on getting out to coinpayments.net/vote and submit donation vote for Zencash. We're already #3 in the queue with them based on the number of votes, so we'll definitely press forward with that. And Likey. So this was a listing pending, or a listing that we thought we were going to get near term, but apparently they're being flooded with business. So I'm actually working on the Seasteading Institute's project, a project with them, and they had reached out to Likey as well, and they got the same response as we did. So they're interested in listing Zencash into the platform, which would be awesome for us, not just as another source of liquidity, but this is a really good currency trading platform where they offer margin trading and short trading. So it's just much better from a market's perspective when we get these additional market functions added to the Zencash ecosystem. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so as with last time, there's about a 20-second delay on the slide getting to the live stream. But I just wanted to highlight a picture here. Really cool. One of the coolest things I think we've done recently was sponsoring a virtual reality competition in Timisoara, Romania. And we just wanted to show you guys a picture of that competition, some of the guys who are a part of it. And they're turning into awesome members of our community. We've been talking to them quite a bit, brainstorming different ideas. I would love personally to get a meetup group going in Timisoara, and as well as other places, and just start getting more hands-on experience. So this is just an example of anyone that has different types of outreach ideas. Please submit them on our forum, and we are always happy to fund things that are going to get the word out in a meaningful way. So next slide, please. Okay, so we have the coolest dog award goes to Drew at Voscoin. So he's been doing, this guy's awesome. I'm not sure if he's online right now, but you've probably already seen his videos. And if you haven't, please check him out. He's doing a really good job with, so he submitted a video that he put together initially on mining Zencash, and he just submitted to, sent it to me, asked me what I thought, and I loved it. So then we started, talking about him doing maybe a series of videos as part of like our grassroots outreach program, a series of tutorial videos on how to do different like basic things, like how to. The most recent one that he did was how to operate the Swing wallet, and then also navigate Bittrex with their wallet, which is really cool for people new to the ecosystem to have that like hands-on guidance. He does it in like a fun way as well, where his dog. Has a little cameo at the end of every video, which is really cool. So, Drew, if you're online, awesome job. Thank you. And really looking forward to future videos that you're going to put together. Okay, so next slide, please. We have our what's going on in the marketing area. And it's great we have Callie on the line to field any questions, but just wanted to talk from a really big picture perspective. So marketing from my perspective is we've formed this dream team, I think. And part of Tatiana's team, also Brian Sorbin, and he's a really interesting guy, an old cypherpunk. And Brian, if you're listening, I say old in the mature sense, not in years, but really cool guy from the cypherpunk community and the Free State Project in New Hampshire. So I'm really happy to have him part of their team as well. So I think that with them and Waxman PR, and then some of our own organic, outreach efforts that people are coming forward and saying they want to help, I think we have this really cool dream team that we're forming, and we're mixing professionals with like what I consider this grassroots swarm approach, where we can have a coherent strategy that we think about and we deploy systematically, but at the same time, in parallel, we can have this like swarm approach where anyone with an idea submit it to us, and we're willing to look at that. We want people to just get out there independently on their own to go out and get the word out about Zencash. So this could be on reaching out to influential YouTubers who talk about cryptocurrencies, introducing them to Zencash, seeing if they'll do interviews, things like that. Anything really, just going to meetups. We're here to support you guys. This is a community effort. So the more of a community involvement we have, the better. And I think it's going to be a really powerful combination. Okay, so I think that's all I have for the slides. So really, at this point, let's just go to Q&A. You guys, let me know what you think. If you have any specific questions, I'm happy to field them. So between and I see Summer's online as well. So Summer, it's me, Boss Lady. If you guys see her in the forum, she's doing a great job. She submitted 2 of these grassroots proposals. We've been very constrained, both with budget but also time. And they were really short turnaround. So we haven't officially committed to them yet, but we're definitely looking forward to working together. So any other questions, please just type it into the best way to get me to see it right away. So type it into the biweekly update chat, the text chat. I'm happy to field those questions. Or if anyone wants to make some comments, by all means, let me know. We'll stick around maybe for upwards of another 10 or 15 minutes for Q&A. Rolf, also, maybe this is a good time. So Rolf put together an awesome summary, overview video of what we've had go. Basically, I use that to structure my slides. So it's really, really cool and made my life a lot easier. But Rolf, if there's anything that you mentioned in your slides that maybe I missed, or maybe something else that's come up recently you want to bring up.
Sure. Thanks, Rob. y'all probably know by now. If you give me a microphone, I can keep talking. So please ask questions either on the YouTube or here on the Discord. One of the things that I wanted to build on what Rob said is we're really focused on usability for people around the world. Having two different full function wallets like the Swing wallet and the Horizen wallet are great. And I'd ask y'all and encourage you to actually use these things. And then if you have a chance to get on the GitHub and to make requests. So when I've been using the Swing wallet to do a few different things, and I noticed on sending messages that maybe it could be formatted a little bit better, and I'd like to be able to sort things and stuff like that. So I just put those in as requests so that Ivan Macklin sees those types of things. He's really head down working hard on the messaging to turn the wallet into more of a messaging thing where you have people's names and message threads and stuff like that, because the path is one-to-one messaging and then one-to-many messaging, and then being able to publish on interplanetary file system through the wallet. And the publishing on the IPFS, y'all might have heard recently the Coin ICO, and that was a recent big ICO for being able to store stuff all over the world on people's hard drives. And that's actually a new mining opportunity for miners to put big hard drives out there and be a miner coin. But it's also built on IPFS, the same thing. So I stood up a couple IPFS peers. They're very easy to set up. And on one of them, I published a JPEG, and then it gave me a little number, and I shared that through the wallet messaging to another one, and I was able to pull it up. So the IPFS capability is there. We just need to demonstrate how to use it and then how to integrate it more. And if you look a little bit more into IPFS, you can actually publish full websites and do other things like that in a completely decentralized manner. So it's pretty powerful. So I see that Mining for Bits has a question. Is there an app in the Google Play Store that has the same functions for Zencash? So all these different wallets that we do, mobile wallets and like my Zen Wallet and hardware wallets, in addition to the full function PC and Mac wallets, they first start out with the transparent transactions, because that's very similar to what Bitcoin does. So we are very close to being on the Coinomi Android wallet. We've been working with them for the past month to get onto the Coinomi multi-coin wallet on Android. And then also moving down the path with both Ledger and Trezor. It takes a little while to go through and do that. But we would like to get to the point where we have full function wallets on mobile devices like the iPhone and the Android, to be able to send secure shielded transactions and messaging as well. And I know we'll get to that, but that's a bit more work than just the transparent transactions.
Cool. Yeah. Thank you, Rolf. Okay. So let's see. We've got some questions coming in. So is there an app in Google Play Store that has the same functions for Zencash?
Yeah. So I just addressed that.
Okay.
Question on the YouTube. So Beta One Zaz is asking if we think secure nodes are enough incentive for investors to consider Zen. So secure nodes are important. They're not important from a standpoint of taking Zen off the market and locking it up so that it artificially inflates the value. That's part of what I see that master nodes do. That's not the purpose of secure nodes. If we want our Zencash to be used, both transparent and shielded transactions and messaging on the blockchain and publishing on the blockchain to be used anywhere in the world, and to be able to keep it up and running and have this be a reliable service for people to do, then we have to have many nodes all over the world that are configured in many different ways and kept up and running. It's why the encryption aspect is important of it, because most blockchain transactions are not encrypted. The addresses are encrypted, but the actual transactions are not. So we're going to have encrypted network transport using SSL certificates. And then we since having many good, reliable nodes are out there, part of the tracking system that DevMan is working on with the rest of the team is that the nodes meet a certain specific computing and memory requirement. And by having a higher level memory and computing requirement, and also paying people to keep their nodes up and running, it incentivizes everybody who's running nodes to keep them up and running. That is the biggest thing that you can do to prevent a denial of service attack against your node network, is to have thousands of people up there that are incentivized to keep their nodes secure, up and running, and in all over places in the world. Some of you might have seen that it's going to get Bitcoin blockchain sent by satellite. I think that's really great. There's other ways to do that as well, by being able to put secure nodes and regular nodes on small computing devices in various different places. We can just create essentially a mesh node network all over the world of very reliable and secure nodes. So if we can have reliable and secure nodes that keeps Zencash system up and running all the time, no matter what's thrown at it, that's going to bring people to use it more and more. And when people use Zencash more and more, then more people have to hold it on their wallets, more people want it on the exchanges, and that's a much more powerful way of getting people to want to buy Zen than getting other people to want to just lock up the supply on master nodes. So that's a theory behind secure nodes.
Yeah, another question with secure nodes is, what if governments outlaw them? This is a bit of a legal question. We definitely don't want to encourage anyone in our community to do anything that will get them in trouble within their home jurisdiction. So that's really a kind of a legal issue from everyone needs to tackle on their own end. But in terms of our network, so our network's a global network and should be resilient to independent countries doing crazy things like outlawing secure nodes. The network will still be operating around the world.
Right, and you know, it's asking if things are legal is a fair question. I also think it's fair to ask if things are moral.
Of course.
They're two different questions, and sometimes have two different answers.
Yep.
Right? If something is legal doesn't mean it's moral, and just because something is illegal doesn't mean that it's immoral.
Absolutely.
And you can, as your own self, figure out what's more important to you. Okay, so another question. Can we run multiple secure nodes on one machine? Well, it depends on what we're going to have as the limitations as we go through the alpha and beta testing of the secure nodes. We don't want to see a concentration of many secure nodes on small amounts of hardware, because that is going to really go against what we're trying to do of having nodes distributed all over the place. So that's why we're having some requirements. Although any of the requirements that we put in place doesn't necessarily mean that you can't have multiple secure nodes running on the same piece of hardware. There's things that you can do with virtualization and IP address and port forwarding on the network side of things. There's a lot of different ways that you can do that. But as long as people are meeting the requirements for performance and whatever we do for nodes per IP addresses and things like that, there's probably going to be ways that people can run multiple nodes on a single piece of hardware. The thing is, that hardware is going to have to be pretty powerful. So in the end, it'll probably end up objectives that we want. Okay. Can secure nodes run on a 64-bit on a Raspberry Pi? Raspberry Pis are not true 64 bits. Part of the deal with secure nodes is that they have to be able to do a shielded transaction. It requires a 64-bit processor, 64-bit operating system, and at least 4 gigs of memory. So the current version of Raspberry Pi doesn't meet that requirement.
Cool. Any other questions on YouTube? I should probably switch over there too.
Well, Beta One's Us got another question on if a node's compromised. Does it mean whoever access to nodes have access to the ledger? Well, that's a great question. So let's draw a distinction between transparent and shielded transactions. So what you can, if you operate a node that runs in that has a SSL certificate on it, and you're copying everything that comes across that node, you may be able to get a little bit more information than if you're just wire sharking the network and seeing what comes across it. The thing is, with shielded transactions, they're different than transparent transactions. Shielded transactions are recorded on the blockchain, but it is who sent it, who received it, or the amount. So there's a lot of inherent security in shielded transactions anyway. So there's no entries on the blockchain ledger for shielded transactions. So I encourage y'all who have downloaded and use wallet is set up 2 different wallets, or send a shielded transaction to yourself. Send a memo. See how it actually works. Try communicating with somebody. See how small, what's the lowest amount of Zen that you can send on a shielded transaction and still have it go through? Can you put a URL into the memo field of a shielded transaction and send it to somebody else? I mean, try these different things out and see, hey, this stuff actually works. For you here on YouTube about integrating with OpenBazaar. I know you mentioned something about that, but I don't really remember what it was you said. Can you take that
Yeah,
one?
no, that's a great question. So just going to our mission of usability, OpenBazaar is definitely on our radar, and we definitely have an interest in integrating with them. And what kind of integration that entails is still TBD. So, it's something that we want to do and we're looking into, but at this point we just don't have additional information. But for anyone who doesn't know what OpenBazaar is, I highly recommend checking them out. So it's just a kind of a global blockchain-based network of like peer-to-peer shopping, or kind of like a much cooler version of Craigslist. So, but done on distributed nodes around the world, so it's resilient to censorship, and offers users the ability to use cryptocurrencies for privacy. So it's definitely something that's extremely compatible with our broader vision.
Yeah, and one of the things I wanted to add on to that is, I wrote at least the first 2 steps on the tutorial of setting up a secure node, and that uses a virtual private server, a VPS, as an example. But as I'm doing more and more things, I'm leaning towards having more and more of my own hardware. So I've got a couple different Intel NUCs. It's the next unit of computing. It's basically a small desktop computer. And for $250, you can get a 4-core Celeron processor, 4 gigs of memory, a 60 gig hard drive. And for like $350, you can get 4-core processor, 8 gigs of memory, 250 gig hard drive. I'm going to set that up and have it always connected. So I'll have an always connected node. I'll set it up as an IPFS peer. OpenBazaar, it's better if you're running that fully connected. And I'll be able to run a secure node on that as well. And then I've got another one, and I'm using that as, exchanges are great, but as we saw with the exchanges in China, sometimes it's good to have your cryptocurrency not on the exchange. So having it on your own computing system that's got an encrypted hard drive and doing multiple backups of that and keeping those in safe places is something that is worth considering for everybody.
Cool. So we have another question here. So will Crypto Media Hub have an information source reference link to refer to when distributing information to businesses to integrate zencash into their payment system? So this really isn't a Crypto Media Hub question, unless Callie has something to add to it. But really, it's a question of which payment source are we going to use, for which apps are we going to have so that merchants can accept zencash. Ideally, we want to have many such apps and services because they each have their own ecosystems and networks we can tap into. But right now, with the first one that we're talking to is this Cost.io. Like I said, this very interesting startup company in Singapore that they're looking to integrate zencash into their payment gateway. So right away, we'll have access to their merchant app. Now with them, so the real question is, for each of these partners that we end up working with, or if we develop our own tools as well, do they have like a referral system? Now I know Cost.io does, so they'll have a way that we'll be able to leverage for everyone in the community. If you want to go out and onboard merchants to get them to accept Zencash, there will be some way to compensate you for doing that. The details we don't have yet.
Let's see. I saw another question on the YouTube regarding, this is a good one. Is 42 Zen enough to encourage people to run secure nodes? Well, I don't really know. I think it's going to be. Right now, if you look at, I referred to master nodes out there earlier, and those require a large amount of cryptocurrency to put on there, and people get somewhere between 8 to 20% ROI. And those are really more for investors or people who buy large amounts of cryptocurrency. The goal with secure nodes is actually 42 is not a lot of money in the big scheme of things, and there is a bit of work to do to get it up and running and keep it running. So I think by doing that it appeals to a different audience to set up secure nodes than the people who are setting up master nodes. I think it appeals to people who it's not very difficult to set up secure nodes for. So folks that are in the IT industry, who understand servers, networks, security, and those, if you think about it, are kind of the exact people that you want to have that are setting up secure nodes for you. So we think that 42 is going to be the right amount, and 3.5% of the reward is the right amount, that we're going to get a few thousand nodes set up and running at about the 1 year point. But that's one of the great things about Zencash, and as we go forward, have and reserve the right that when we get new information that we can change things. So I think everything is going to work out well with secure nodes.
Yeah, that's a really good point, Rolf. So that's true for everything that we're doing. Is we're just very much interested in feedback from users, the market. If anything we're doing that just doesn't make sense or we're not hitting our objectives, we're going to be constantly experimenting to try to tailor things so that they work out. So we're relatively agnostic to our approaches. We're more interested in figuring out what actually works instead of thinking that we have all the answers up front. Now, the other thing with the 42 Zen I wanted to mention was we want to make sure that this project is open and inclusive to anyone around the world. And for maybe an American, 42 Zen may not seem like much, but for someone in Venezuela right now, 42 Zen might be a bit of a stretch, right? So we want to be inclusive for anyone. We don't want there to be an artificial economic barrier, I guess, for anyone participating in the system. Okay. Anyone else have any questions, or are we kind of gonna call it a wrap for the day? Okay, so let's see. I'm seeing a question about IOHK. Yes, we're actually in working with them right now to structure some formal agreements. So we have some IOHK engineers who have been working on the project in the background. They've been doing an amazing job. They're still with us, and they're helping out in different ways, particularly with the blockchain improvements that are ongoing. But we are looking at actually formalizing the agreements and looking at a multi-phased roadmap that I think is pretty amazing for the project. But we'll have more information about that when we actually work through some of the details on our end. Okay, any other questions?
Just addressing a question on the YouTube. I guess to clarify, secure nodes are designed to be attractive for IT professionals to set up, as opposed to be for investors. and to set up. Investors are an important part of any cryptocurrency, but for the network and system that we're going to be running it on, we want to have them be set up by people that keep their nodes secure. Anyway, probably enough on that.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, we want to make the system as simple as you kind of open some software and hit a big green button or something, and well, everything works out perfectly. But for now, especially in the early phases, yeah, we definitely want to attract IT professionals who know what they're doing.
All right. Well, hey, I think that's the majority of the questions. I think that was a great session that we had.
Yeah, awesome. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for dialing in. I'm sorry, Rolf.
Continue to move forward on multiple fronts in parallel. So we're excited that there's so many people in the Zencash community that are doing this with us. This is a lot of fun.
Heck yeah, absolutely. Cool. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for calling in. It's been a really fun session. We'll do this again in 2 weeks. We have a regular schedule now, and you'll be able to check out everything on YouTube shortly after the live stream stops. All right, over and out.
Thanks.